Hello, all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hopefully, you've already had your lunch. If you've not, you can eat with me. I'll be eating in a little bit. I got to do the live first. So, welcome back. I hope you had a good weekend. Let's dive on in. Let me tell you, for today, I'm going to have to do my face while we talk about new lashes and need to clean up these eyebrows. So, here we go. Let's see. So, for today's, you did. It was good, wasn't it? Oh my gosh. On the way in, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and then share it. All positive vibes over here. Every time I review, I'm going to be reviewing it from a point of somebody that has good sense most of the time and is able to say when I don't. So let's get started. Before we get started with the actual episodes, Tessa just, I like to call her Tessa, I don't know, but Ressa just did an update a couple of days ago where one of the brothers reached out to her and offered some insight into some of the questions we had because can't nobody figure out, sir, if you in your kind of in your right mind, right? And if you technically are not taking nothing from this girl, hey gorgeous, and technically not taking nothing from this girl, like what is your end plan? What exactly are you doing? Because this doesn't make sense, right? That's what those of us with at least a piece of a brain are saying. I don't know. I try. So let's get her on the phone. Yes, I always talk on my unplugged in phone because I don't have to listen to anybody's response. Let me tell you. So let's go. And yes, I'm still wearing my pajamas. I work from home. Okay. Shower, pajamas, and live your best life. Let's see. Let me cut her up. Cut up my phone. So the question we are going to be asking her is, girl, what do the family got to say? Let's see.
I called him from my personal phone. I called him at 2:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He and I spoke, and there were two things that he asked for me to clear up.
Oh, okay.
Here it is. Number one, Legion's mother passed away first. His father passed away a few years later. It was at the father's funeral that Legion brought his ex-wife, and apparently there was an altercation of some kind between Legion and his older brother. They have not seen each other since the father's funeral. The parents did everything they could to get Legion psychiatric help. At one point, they were taking him to different therapists and psychologists. He's been diagnosed as a kid with both bipolar and schizophrenia. I did not know this. Chris informed me today, Monday, February 26th, during that phone call, that their father came out of retirement to help pay for the medications. And as Legion got older, he refused to take them. We did not know that. I say all this to say that Chris gave me permission to go ahead and relay this message to everyone to clear up some things that were said in the 50-part series.
Thank you, Chris.
He also had a message for me. He said, we support you. The family is not mad at you. We've known how he is for years. You can expose that motherfucker. So thank you, Chris.
Well, y'all, Chris is with the shit. Chris is tired of the shit. Chris don't deal with him. So the family in real life don't. First, can we pause here and say, I've been saying, and a lot of people have been saying, this doesn't make sense for somebody that gives. You didn't technically, you took time from her, emotional issues, you caused those things, but you didn't take anything monetary. You gave her a different experience, and had this relationship been absent of all of these lies, it would have otherwise been like the perfect relationship because he did a lot of grown man shit. It's people that supposedly have their whole mind and can't, won't. Oh, that's a story for another day. Anyway, it didn't make sense. So the man does actually have issues. And so, like I was always taught to do, and if you're a good Christian, you will as well, or trying to be a good Christian, pray for that man because his mind is working against him. And all of these signs that, that she expressed in her story were perfect tell-all signs of somebody that's battling two things because it just doesn't make sense. It really didn't. So we'll leave it there. So we're picking up with episode 21. In episode 21, remember it as a carryover from them going to lunch and then him driving by a grave site with the mother and the father in it, and then him also saying, oh, this is the building I work in, we're going to be moving into this building, which would be the executive office, and that's where the car is that I got. Now, from my point of view, at this point is where her attitude comes in, because she didn't get her car, but he got his car. He got his car because he didn't get the car, but he got the car because it was paid for by the company. She's upset that she didn't get her car, so her behavior does change. She's salty. She admitted she was salty. I'm using her words, not mine. She admitted that she was salty because of the car, right? He does not bring the car home as well because they don't stay in the best neighborhood. But remember when she was looking for a car as well, and he was like, the car is going to be delivered. She said no because of the area that they stayed in. So he's, playing different games with her. He has sent her pictures of the car. He has said a couple times like, oh, I'm going to, instead of leaving the car at the office, I'm going to bring it home because I'm just too tired, but can I park in the garage? Mind you, at this point, he has also put the down payment on her car to get an Altima. So she's still in a newer, better car, but it is not that car, which is a luxury car. And that is what she wants because he has it. This is where the money thing, in addition to her wanting it to be her turn, the money thing was a huge factor. I can't really say if that's bad or good because who doesn't want to be taken care of? And if it's not compromising your freedom, your safety, or anything like that, but I didn't like the whole attitude part. So this is the first time I'm not liking something that she has done for my preference, because that was a little bit materialistic. It kind of showed him where to play. And it's just not that serious. It's the car. If that's the car you want, you are no longer paying bills. So when you got the Altima, instead of getting the Altima, you should have got the car that you wanted. Right? We grown. Should have got hers. Okay. In this episode as well, I guess because he saw she was getting salty about the car, whatever. One of our big dreams is to go to, this is why I can't do nothing while I'm talking, because I talk with my hands. In this episode chapter or whatever as well, she mentions that she really loves and has always wanted to go to London and Paris. Y'all, I need to wear everyday ones because when I blink, I get sleepy with these damn eyelashes on. I don't see how y'all do this. But she mentions that she likes that place, right? So she comes home from work one day, and on the table is a packet. Yes, inkjet. Now, see, that's something that he could get. Inkjet could send him a printer. Like, that's what he does the most. She expressed what she wants. He should get what he uses the most. I think he should have a lifetime supply of paper with invisible ink. It should print, but then it should go invisible because what's going to be on that paper is just going to change somebody's world. We could say that he changed his world. He does. So anyway, he has it printed on the table for her, and she walks in and says, oh, what's this? And she opens it, and it's a trip. It's a trip to London and Paris, like she wanted to do. It's all planned out. He tells her where they're going to stay. There's an itinerary of different things. They mentioned getting a passport because both of their passports need to be renewed. Number one, if it needs to be renewed, then I mean you had one before, right? Okay. So they both need to get their passports renewed. She's just so happy. She immediately goes and looks at the hotel, which is the Savoy, which it shows he did research, right? So he has planned this trip. My man loved me. My man planned this trip, and we are out of here. My man better than everybody else in there because my man is doing this. Ladies, don't think like that. That gets us in a little bit of trouble sometimes. Thinking of somebody is better than somebody else's somebody, then you always got to keep one up in people in your brain. Doesn't work that way. So That episode ends with, "Oh my God, I'm going to London and Paris." Okay. As by now, if you haven't figured it out, she ain't going to no damn London and Paris. But he did print it all out, honey. She excited about it. She goes to work the next day and prints out the renewal paperwork for them to be able to start the process because they're supposed to go in July. And around this time, it is the end of March. Okay. They did not have a honeymoon or anything like that. So this is not far fetched, right? They're going. So in episode 22 is where the shit goes down and where we will elaborate more tonight with Rose. But I will give you a brief overcap. I will. An overcap because it's not going to be a full cap. Wait, but y'all young people use cap in a different. Hell, you know what I mean. Okay, so he's always been so open. I don't lie. I don't like liars. It's no reason for me to hold anything back. Blah blah blah. So she has the passcode to his phones. Okay, she's never checked it, but on this particular day, she's in the room. He's in the bathroom. Phone goes off, and the message doesn't look like a message that you should have as a married person. Okay. So she picks up the phone and goes through it, but just straight to that message. She does not flip out because this conversation can go either way because the person has the same exact name as an aunt that he has, the aunt that he talks about. When she reads the message is actually from the aunt, so she ain't tripping. But like God will do when you get married or you are sharing your space with someone, he puts things in your hands sometimes. Y'all remember I told y'all I found about my ex's baby because he put it in my hands and he hated that answer. How did you find out? You told me. You gave it to me. Hmm. You still think I'm crazy for that, but it's okay. Um, Anywho, so while she's looking at the phone, it shows Facebook notifications that he has all these Facebook notifications. In her mind, how do you have all these Facebook notifications when you ain't even got friends like that? Why would anybody be talking to you on Facebook when you talk to your brother every single day at 6:15 when you leave this house and your siblings on the phone? So what y'all doing on Facebook like this? So she opens it up and lo and behold, honey, y'all know what kind of messages was in there. She met a different side of her husband. It's messages from a girl talking about when you gonna bring that blank over here. Um, and prior, he reached out to her first. I don't know why married people reach out to people. I don't know why married people put things in writing. I don't know why people put things in writing that could come back to bite them. It's completely disrespectful, but you know, whatever. So in these messages, he's talking to a girl. He had initially asked her, "When you gonna let me come over there and get some of that X, Y, and Z?" She says, "As soon as the shelter in place is over." So the only thing that stopped this man from physically cheating was COVID. So she reads through all the messages. He has, like I think she said, about 25 of them in there from various people because unfortunately, when a cheater that cheats like that, that's cheating for attention because they're the ones reaching out, um, it's not just one. They copy and paste. They send it to a couple. Uh, so those mistresses going hard. First of all, I don't know why a mistress would go hard, but that's your business. Anyway, these people, that cheat, men and women. If you are cheating on your spouse, I'm really not sure why a mistress would want to take two jets to hell, but that's your business. Um, and these women did not know that he was married, but he's reaching out to them. Now, here's the part for me. This is why I even care about this part. When she saw the messages, the man she saw was not her husband. Who can attest to that? That was not her husband. The things that he was talking about sexually and everything else, she's like, Say what now? She like, you a nasty mother blank. But in the same token, she like, how come I ain't never seen this side of this man? How do you know that's not something that, you know, wife gets a totally different version of their husband when the husband is like this. She's like, you damn near treat me like I'm Virgin Mary and walk on water. And here you are with this person trying to live like a unicorn. Meanwhile, I'm over here getting missionary and a kiss on the forehead. You could have told me and we could have discussed these things if that's what you wanted. So quite naturally, now that she's seen a different side of her husband, I won't say the one she don't have is real. I'll just say that there's a different side. And it's very unfortunate that wives get treated like that because it just doesn't make sense to me. If you're willing to try to shoot your shot with a complete stranger, then why would you not express what you like to your partner or express your desires to your partner? It really doesn't make sense to me. But okay. Um, so he gets out the shower and in true Aquarius fashion, uh, what is this? Y'all, this is what gets Aquarius in trouble. And I can admit to it, not just in relationships, but with people, period. Well, I guess that's a relationship, but with people, period. He owned it. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have did that. I was bored. Um, she's more concerned with, is this really who you are? Like, are these some of the things you want to do? Blah, blah, blah. No, I was just bored. It was so stupid of me. Um, I'm sorry. It'll never happen again. I'll close my social media. Um, I don't need any of that. And then they agreed to go to marriage counseling. From that, here's what I will say. It is so crazy to me that when I'm in these like TikTok groups and stuff like that, and men are talking about, or the panels that we listen to, and men are talking about what they want from their wives, and we don't create a safe space, and or women, we don't create a safe space, and they don't feel like they can say these things, but in a lot of cases, you felt like you could say it to a complete stranger, and a stranger that if it got back to your spouse, there was good potential. Oh, fuck. Sorry, I didn't mean to say fuck. There was great potential that you could lose your spouse over something that's not guaranteed and something that you could have just talked about. Because here's the thing, I'm really tired of people saying nobody wants to hear the word no. You hear the word no every damn day. If your parents didn't teach you how to hear the word no, then I'm going to take it back to the parents again and say we have a bigger problem because that's insane. Ain't nobody going to like everything you do. Ain't nobody going to tell you yes to everything, even a spouse. Parents don't do it. Nobody does it. It's not realistic. So if you're not capable of hearing the word no, explain to me how, like in this case, you made it all the way to being a VP. Explain that. Or in his case, you played on a football team. And explain that to me. How come it's in a place where you have to put on, it's a term for everything for a woman, which is interesting. When in a position where you need to put on your big man pants and be a grown ass man and say what it is that you want for your household, for your relationship, and your sexual desires, then you all of a sudden clam up and you can't talk to the one person that you vowed to tell every single thing to. I don't really understand. Even if they were things that you thought were appropriate, hell, condition those questions just like y'all condition everything else. Start with some things that are a little bit more common and then add in extra spicy stuff. And here's the thing, like she said, I went to college, I went to FAMU. So I'm not so vanilla. A lot of times women, they follow the man's lead because if you're asking your husband or the man you're dealing with, oh, do you like this or oh, do you like that? And he's saying no, then you ask, right? Or when y'all watching different stuff and y'all making comments judging people, because a lot of men are very judgy. They are. They're very judgy. They're quick to call a girl a hoe or something like that. When you guys do that, we're listening. We can hear. You want to know what else we can hear? That song you playing that calls that girl all kind of names when she does certain things. So pay attention to the words that you use. But in some regard, I wanted to spend a little bit more time on this one, and then Ro and I will wrap it up tonight. These excuses are out of control. He did not make excuses though. So although very hurt, she's like, we need to go to marriage counseling, because she's not negating the fact that she's just learned something new about her husband. And if those are the things that he wants, or what else are you not telling me? And don't forget about the charger incident where he said that a man came over, which, stick a pin right here, y'all. In that episode, he really did open the door and go outside and come back in, but it was about a minute. It was the timing also of the security system that threw her off in believing his story, which is why she reached out to the neighbor. Now that we know he has these other issues, I wonder if he really did open the door and have a conversation with somebody. This is sad, y'all. It's really sad. I'm glad to know that piece of information now that we can be even a little bit more empathetic, because I just don't understand why somebody would live like this. Episode 23. Oh no, we got to go back to 22. They're not in the same bedroom anymore. Intimacy is lacking. She wanted her lick back. They need to go to marriage counseling. She couldn't stand his guts. Now is where she's starting to dislike him because a couple of things have piled up. One of which she knew is a lie. Two, that's him saying that the dude came over. Two, she feels like he's trying to make her jealous with the car, which that could be it, but that's also something that would make you jealous. So you probably should work on that a little bit. And they're not in the same bedroom. Now, they go to marriage counseling. The pastor and the wife are the ones who give them marriage counseling. He takes accountability from beginning to end in the first couple of sessions about that too. The pastor and them were completely alarmed that why is there no intimacy in this marriage? It's too early for it to be like this. He does apologize, but he also says, I'm not going to keep apologizing for something I've already apologized for. Either you forgive me or you don't. I could see both sides of that. I don't know. You do need to apologize and show that you have changed. And I guess him feeling like by saying, I'll close all my social media and things like that, that it should be enough to move forward and we can have these discussions. So it depends on how it was positioned to him, because if they just brought it up in counseling, they're supposed to bring it up so you can talk about it. But if he felt like he was being attacked, which is what most people do that do bad things, that's why they want to seclude you. They're not doing it because they don't want you in public. They're not doing it because they don't want you around other people, except for the fact that they don't want their bad part to come out. They don't want to have to face some of those people that they know they wronged you in front of. They don't want to have those conversations where they need to admit those things in front of other people. So that's the catch-22 one. In this one, he says, we should have a joint bank account. We are married, and so we should have a joint bank account. And she says she wasn't against it because she knew she would still have her own account and stuff like that. So she says, okay, log into your bank. I'll log into my bank. At this time, the bank that he logged into and showed, he had 9,600 in checking and she had 1,500. I'm sure this played a lot into how he knew how to move the pieces with her. Although smart, still ready and tired. And I'm sure that it did have a lot to do with it. Um, he showed her three of the accounts. The ones that are here are supposed to be US based, but he still did not show the offshore accounts. When it got back to counseling, it carried over. She wasn't letting it go. It carried over into counseling. Like, why wouldn't you show? I don't understand why you wouldn't show me account. I'm not some woman. I'm your wife. My uncle told me to always protect the bag and don't let a woman do X, Y, and Z. And he goes into my ex-wife tried to take my money. Stick a pin right here. I really wish she would have thought about this. Uh, in the state of California, if he was married here, divorced here, and all of that, half of that money would have left her. He wouldn't have said she tried to. He would have said she took it because it is 50-50 in this state. You can take it if the person asks for it. So she wouldn't try to take it. She would get it, especially since he assumed the responsibility over her two children, according to what he said. So that would have happened if they were indeed in California. He says all of this in front of the marriage counselors, which actually happen to be pastor and wife, so not marriage counselors. Marriage counselors, they're great for that, but they don't have the other training, which would have allowed them to say some different things to her as well. Oh, let me go back. When she found out that he cheated, or that's still cheating because they exchanged pictures and all of that. Y'all know what those messages look like. They went back very far. She left to go on a drive to clear her mind, and she called her aunt. She said she would not recommend including family under normal circumstances, but she did call her aunt. Her aunt gave her appropriate advice that you would give to somebody that is married. It was take your butt back home. This is not boyfriend, girlfriend. You don't just break up and you don't just walk away. You go home and you try to work on your marriage. Can you leave? You can leave, but you can't run away. You can leave if it's because of him cheat, whatever the issues are, you can leave. But what you can't do is you can't not honor your marriage. Do it the right way. That's all the aunt said. So she did go ahead and go home. Okay, so now fast forward back. We're at the counselor's office. The counselor says, I don't see y'all being married enough till January. This is around end of March, early April. I don't see y'all being married, which would have only made it a year. She said, I don't see it. Rissa's still in her head like, no, my marriage is going to make it because remember, I keep saying only a couple of things. I need to find another word for only because it's only to some people, but a big deal to other people. For me, some of these things are a big deal. For her, they weren't, and that's fair. Only thing I say across the board that will never not be a big deal to one or the other is hands. It's always going to be a big deal, and y'all know what I mean by hands. So counselor is can't really do it. They're like, I'm going to be here for you as much as I can, but we'll see where this will go. Also, he starts to mention at this time, because at least it's going to be over in August, we should start looking for another home again. True Aquarius fashion. I don't fucking want to do that. You do it. I don't want to do it. I'm still moving. We're still moving to Cobb County, but I don't want to look for a home anymore. So he goes out and gets another realtor. This is the realtor that tells her the truth without telling her the truth. He goes out and gets a woman. This woman does it right from the beginning. I'll need the proof of funds and I'll need the letter. He don't want to send over either one. I don't understand why, but she ended up getting the letter from Chase, which is now outdated. Remember I said those letters only last a couple of months. So his letter is out of date from Chase. So she's like, okay, well, these are the steps you need to go through to get another one. She reaches out to Reesa and is like, I don't understand how he wants to look for a house, but he doesn't want to show me the information. All he has to do is just send it to me. I could take a screenshot. I could take this. You just need to send this, and you need to go through these other steps because at this point, he needs another letter. He don't want to do it. So Reesa says, you know what, at this point, I think we should put things on hold. Let's just wait a minute. And she said, I think that you should really do your research on everything. And Rather, I'll be here for you, rather you two buy a house together, or rather you buy one by yourself. But I think you really need to do your research and look into some things. I need to look into some things. Hmm. Now she's thinking about the house part. Okay. Episode 25, last one. At the end of like April of 2021, she starts to look for another job. One, the card thing fueled her. She doesn't like that the car that she did get, he had to help her with it, and he has to help her with the note. Pin right there. Girl, what was you doing with your money? Because how would he have to help you unless you're thinking about it this way? Because I was thinking, how do you need help with the note? Need, not want, help with the note if he's now paying the bills that you used to pay. That's off open money to catch up on things or whatever you need to do. But if she's thinking like a responsible person will be thinking, great, you're paying these bills, but I'll take half and put half up. I'll use a quarter of it to do something that I wasn't able to do for myself. And then the other quarter of it, I'll start paying things off. That way, if anything happens, I'm in a better place than when you came, and I still have, this money saved up, and I could just resume taking up my bills, but I'll be in a much better position. That's what I kind of did when I got married. I split up my money different, but it wasn't now I could do whatever I want to do. I didn't do that. I enjoyed a little bit, and then the rest I put up because you never know what can happen. And you're married, you're not dating. You might need to put in on that house, or you might want to buy a couch, or you might want to. Anything could happen. Your partner could get sick. When you're a helpmate, your responsibility is to start to save and to start doing different things, paying off debt, looking into investment options. Your job as a helpmate is to grow the home. They're to provide for the home, you're to grow the home, or you can do it together. But that is your job, not to deflate the damn account and no means to put it back. But anyway, it fueled her, honey, because she like, I'm gonna get what I need for me. I can't do this no more. So now she wants a new job. He like, you ain't leaving that job because you care about them ninjas more than me. Jealous are you of the men that she's around? What you jealous for? You knew she worked at patrol when you got with her. So she starts looking for a job. The job she is looking for, I'm guessing that they high tech because the job she was looking for, she got accepted for the job. Now she needs to fill out the paperwork, and the paperwork required his information as well. Did that girl work for the FBI? Internal Revenue? The credit company? I'm trying to think of what is out there. It's the major companies out there, but she apparently applied for one and got a big job. So she told him, hey, I need your social. He didn't want to give it at first. I don't understand. How you marry with him, that don't count. But I have all his information. He has all of mine. It's crazy. Why would you marry somebody that you got to do all of that with? It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. But always protect yourself. Don't be stupid. That's my PSA for today. But so he puts the social on the paper. He just writes it down. Oh, fine. Get rid of the social. She looking at it like something looked different. You didn't notice something was different. God told you something is different. Okay? Because who will remember a number from way back then that you haven't visited again? So she goes to look at her marriage license, and the first three numbers are different. Everybody knows the first three digits is where you are from. She's not knowing, though, because she's the one who did the paperwork. Did I transpose these numbers, or did he transpose these numbers? Now is where she tells, because I did a background check on this number, and this number didn't come back with nothing. So I thought we were good. Apparently, my background check wasn't good enough. Oh, really? Hmm. So now she like, all of Georgia? They need your spouse's info. Out here, sis, I've been interviewed as a neighbor before of people like that was going for anything like government or law enforcement to ask me like, oh, how is this person as a neighbor, blah, blah, blah. I've been interviewed for people too. And I was like, dang, that's a lot. It was a guy when we when we was growing up that stayed across the street when we stayed in North Pomona, borderline Laverne. And the neighbor across the street, it had to be 8 years that that man was applying and he would never get it. And I couldn't understand because somebody must have been saying something wrong. All we saw that man do was go to work, come home, take his kids and wife out. He didn't do nothing. I don't know. But you never know what people was doing because it was also a pedophile on the same street. And nobody knew till the news came over there. Jesus. Y'all, you really don't know people. So it don't matter if you know them for 1 year or 32. Just saying. 1 year does help you. I mean, more time actually helps you pick up on habits, but it's crazy. Anyway, yeah, she needed the information, so she notices that it's different. So at this point, she's like, oh no. At this same time, he hurt himself at work and could was still able to go to work, but he mostly came home and he was more mellow. He was in pain, things like that. The devil, let me tell you this. The devil, think about it. That's why everyone comes more to the West. You're right. Even during COVID, they all came over here. So all this money that we paying back technically should have been expedited back to their states. You're right. We had everybody here. We really did. Um, what was I saying? I was talking about oh Lord. Oh, downtime. The devil's mechanism is noise, right? It'll be a lot going on. There'll be a lot of people in your space. You'll be doing so amazing. You keep your time filled. Your your ego will be loud. Deception, right? It was really busy around her. Somebody that lies like that, they typically keep you on your toes. Like, look what happened when she started to drift into a space of not being happy. Because for most women, when they're unhappy, they think about things that are people. No, more women. When they don't get what they want, not me, they start to do things like, oh, I'm gonna get you back. Oh, I'm gonna do this. Oh, then no more sex. Oh, then no more this. He didn't want her in that position. So that's why it was oh, here's a trip. We're going to London and Paris. I know things have been all over the place and COVID and we didn't get a honeymoon. So here's this, right? You put her back up. Now, because he can't be a little busy, be watching her and watching her moves, she can start to think clearly. It's a little less noise. Plus, two things have happened that have her red alert up anyway. Now she just needs the proof to go along with it, which she's still thinking, what is the purpose of some of these things? They don't make sense. Do you just like, is it you want chaos? Am I too quiet for you? This is what she's thinking, right? Okay. She runs the background check, an extensive one this time. She figures out the numbers based on where he truly was first. It was the first three numbers. He changed the first three numbers because apparently he didn't know what a social was. All the rest of the numbers were right. All you got to do is see where the person was born and you could pop those numbers in there. She did. She ran the background check. Red flag came back of all the addresses that he had: Georgia, Rhode Island, PA, no California. I told y'all we deported him when he bought a plane ticket. We spun him back around and sent him home. Y'all keep that on the East Coast, okay? And in the South. We don't want that here. And if you're talking about you went to college out here, the hell you did. So she decides, because everything is opening back up, oh, San Diego is open back up. Let me go online and request the transcripts because I got all his information. It returned a nothing. So she's like, huh. So she goes and emails the registrar's office and asks, like trying to verify information. When you're trying to verify information, just so you know, people, it's not illegal for somebody to say yes or no, especially if it's related to work. You can say yes or no. The person says no. She then goes and asks him, and of course, there's an answer. You guys you're so silly. There's an answer. His father paid for him to be a private student so that none of his information would come up. but he also played on the football team. He didn't really think that lie out. You played on the football team at the school, and your record is sealed. We'll leave it. So, tomorrow, yes, we'll be doing it from my car. And we will be on time because I will be in the office tomorrow. I have meetings. So I need to do it, my lunch, directly at 12:30. 12:30. Okay? And then we're gonna dive in. I told y'all this shit gets good. It is amazing. One thing's for certain and two things for sure. The longer you with somebody, stuff will come out. Give it time to evolve. But what I will leave you with is all of these people, and I mean every last one that is saying it's too soon. That's what you get for being desperate, blah, blah, blah. If I go on your timeline and you say anything about like a 90-day fiance, uh, love at first sight, any of those other shows that I see y'all rallying for them damn couples and all this other shit that don't know nobody, explain your contradiction again. Makes no sense. There's still arranged marriages. With arranged marriages, I will say the caveat for me is at least generally the two families know each other. So it's a way to track back or whatever. What I'll also say is thank you to Chris. Thank you to the family. Through this story, a lot of things, there are a lot of lessons to learn in this. And then there's also proper ways to see people behave. One, she never came for blood. That is going to be commendable for me every day. Two, the family's response, right? Family, you know what your person is like. When you know what your person is like, how dare you treat the other person like that? My own story, before I got married, one of my cousins, Michelle, when she saw that I was going to get married, because I didn't see I was going to get married, I was going to be single with him, but single. My mama said it's single, married, and divorced. So you only those. She actually called me and she said, "This man loves you and he wants to marry you." And I was like, "No, he don't." I was like, "We're fine. We like it the way it is." She said, "Well, he's going to marry you. And so I need you to get ready." And I was like, "Get ready for what?" I was like, "I'm good." I was like, "I'm a good woman. Everybody tells me I'm a good woman. So, like, fix what things? I've been through therapy. I'm educated. I have this. I have that. I do this and I do that. And I'm this type of person." And she said, "You don't slow down. That's what you're supposed to do when you love somebody." Because she loved me. Was I all of those things? I was all of those things. How do those things translate into marriage, though? How do those things translate into motherhood? There are some things that you have learned, even through therapy, how to work out on your own. But now that you have to include somebody else, you have negated your triggers. You have put up your boundaries. You have been able to identify triggers, but you haven't thought about how those things will happen with a person with you every day. I spent a lot of time with my husband before we got married. It was um, not COVID, but I had had a house fire, and so I was off work for a while with the kids because we were displaced and all of that. And he spent a lot of time with me. And then after, we started spending time going back and forth between houses. So we did spend a lot of time together. So the question was for me, can you deal with somebody every day? Can you deal with somebody getting on your nerves? Can you deal with those times you don't want to talk? And equally, some people talk to him. Are you sure you want to marry her? You are aware that she's been that way since she's been a little girl. I've seen her evolve and do all of these things, but in this space, and this is a strong thing that she has, I don't see the likelihood of it going away. So how comfortable are you with that? Those type of conversations need to be had. So I appreciate the family saying, "We have your back. We already know this is present." And they never knew her from the beginning. They're offering her grace because of what she has been through. Um, and she equally is being respectful to them. How can people that never met each other treat each other better than some of us that should treat each other better? So that's what I will leave with that. A lot more happiness in marriages could be there if there was more support and if there was more accountability, both from your family giving you accountability and then your family also talking to the other person, where it's fit and appropriate, and then vice versa. But the splitting up of marriages, the allowing to walk away and just leave the home, go have a boyfriend, go start dating, doing all of this shit before you do what you're supposed to, that's not appropriate. And we can see in how it's translated into the world. But everybody wants to be married. Everybody wants their turn. Everybody wants love. And you can say you don't want to be married, but you probably because you skip past it and have the kids already. But that's fine. Everybody, everything ain't for everybody. But what I will say is for those that want it, you should support them. We got to learn how to support each other better with honesty too. So that is it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will be back tonight to really dive into the Facebook. We could call him Facebook Swindler, huh? Curiosity be killing people. Ooh, Lord. Okay, y'all. Bye. I gotta go eat now. See you later.